boys and girls, welcome back. We got a new series we're starting today. I've been working on some new patterns and messing with some new material, trying to make extended bodies for Euronymphs. If you've ever seen or looked online, a lot of the big extended bodies that are in use are usually for very large mayflies or hoppers or stoneflies, to where you're looking at a bug that more or less is going to be, an inch or two long. And most nymphs that, we're seeing are much smaller than that, obviously, but, they're still big enough that you have a distinguishable extended body. We're looking at Caddis. What we have here is a new pattern. It's called a Noodle Caddis. Something like I said, I've been messing around with different materials, and we're going to go through today how to make something like this. And it turned out better than I expected, but it is a little bit difficult to try to get these little tails to work correctly, like when you're making them. So let's get into some of the ingredients that we have here. Okay, what we have to start here, we have on the hook, this is an Orvis 1 POR. That's their nymph hook, which is now Fooling Mills. Size 14. I have 3mm tungsten metallic brown bead on the top. For the body, what we're using are some quills. This is Fooling Mill product, for strip quills. What we have here on the bottom is just a brown. And then for the hackle, I just have some small CDC feathers. Like I said, this is a size 14. I cut this a little bit long, but make it work. Okay, extended bodies. What we have here on the back, which is the main part of the bug, is some stretch tubing. Now this is the regular size, the standard size. I haven't really tried this with medium or small, but this one seems to be, the right diameter for the bugs that I'm seeing. So I'm kind of sticking with that. It's a little hard to work with, for what we're doing. So what we have, I just threw that on the floor. When we pull that out of the pack, essentially is this. Okay. Okay, so let's just get this out of the way so that we can see a little bit better. And what we have here, a little pair of forceps that are serrated. Serrated being the key, because we're trying to create little lines in this body material, okay, so that we can end up creating something like this. And you can see the little markings on it, you can feel them on it, and what we're doing is we're putting this stretch tubing into, a pair of forceps like this. I have been cutting about a 1/4 inch off the tip of that, just so that we can use it for a tie-in. But also when you're heating this, which is what we're going to do, it kind of gives you a little guide as far as how much heat you need. I mean, this stuff will melt. And to show you some examples of some things, you cook these things a little too long, they get a little curly. They are usable, but the better ones, that I've got, I've kind of figured out a system. It takes a little bit of time. You can get them flat. You can get the little marks on them. So normally I would tell you when you're heating this type of thing, don't use something extremely hot, you know, like a butane torch. It'll definitely cook it. So what I'm using, just a regular lighter, and gonna heat this up a little bit on the bottom, 2 or 3 seconds. Do the same thing on the top, and you can see this little tag up here, when it starts to get, see it start to droop there, that way you know kind of when the material that's in the middle of that comes out. Okay, just like that. So not too bad. This one's still a little bit round. That's the delicate part of getting the ridges on there without destroying the structure of the stretch tubing. It, you know, it's still gonna work. But if we try it again, always try to make sure you get that directly in between the teeth. Try to heat it a little bit and then squish it a little bit more, and let that kind of show us what we need there. So when I open this up, it'll flatten that out. Okay, that's our body, or part of our body. That's our extended body. Now, let's go ahead and get a hook in the vise. All right, the thread that I'm using, this is just a standard black. I'm gonna use this just to build up that body a little bit. No, I don't want it to go the whole way into the bend. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pick a quill off of a little pouch or pack of it over here. And I am going to tie that in back here at the back, just like this. And I'm going to build up this body just a touch. I want it to be a little bit more pronounced, because the neat thing about using at least this color, God, I hate this bobbin. You know, it's still transparent. So from the top, you know, you can see, just like, you know, when you're looking at a bug, you can kind of see through it a little bit to where you have that darker inside. And that transparent outside. So, all right, that's our taper. Now I'm gonna put some nano silk on here. Try to even this out, flatten it out a little bit. Still want it small. I mean, you know, these like October caddis that I'm still seeing on the stream. They're about this size. So we're gonna tie that off and hang it. And then we're gonna take our quill and, excuse my hands for a second. We're gonna wrap this after we cut this tag off. Using black as that undercolor too is on purpose. That way these wraps don't have to be exactly perfect. lines again. Gonna pin that down. Cut that off. Okay. Now, the neat thing with these bodies, okay, you can see how curly they can get if you heat them too much. If you want that type of a body up in the air, you can do it that way. If you want it to be more down along the hook and extend down on this side, you know, you can do that too. Or if you have straight ones, you know, you can make it right off the back. So we're going to use a straight one here, but some of the other tricks that, you know, that I've tried with these bodies, some of them, I mean, that stretch tubing is small enough that, or big enough that you can still get some, what I have in here is like flash, crystal flash, okay? Try to give it a little color, a little sparkle. What I was running into when I first started trying this is, you know, the heat destroys the integrity of that stretch tubing. So to put something in it, inside the stretch tubing, I was hoping it'd kind of give it a little bit better structure, you know, so that I could heat it and make it as flat as possible. But here's another trick to where we have that stretch tubing, and what I have in there is a piece of wire, okay? The neat thing about that is you can make that whatever you want. So I kind of liked, if you're doing a, you know, mayfly pattern or something like that, I'm probably going to end up using this method just to kind of give us, you know, a little bit of angle on that side. Some of the other things that you know, that you can try, obviously just the different colors. Here I'm going to be doing some blue wing olives. This one still kind of round. I didn't really break that one down, but the better ones, you know, end up looking like this. Like this one's perfect. So you got those little lines on it, and all we're going to do is tie this onto the back of the head like this. Okay, so let me find my good one. Okay, and here's that little tab that, you know, we left sticking out the top of the pliers, and this is kind of what the end result is going to look like. Obviously we're going to trim this. Okay, now something I had been messing with a little bit is whether to glue this down. Could just fish it like this, okay? To give you that, and we're gonna trim that tail, you know, so that it's either like as long as the hook or just barely longer than the hook. So what we're gonna do next, get some Solares to protect that quill. Whole way around. Okay, get your torch. And what I have done is grabbed a hold of this and just tried to pull it straight back this direction so that you're not going to attach it too much to the body or around the curve of the hook. It'll just stick right on the top there. And we're going to cook the rest of this. Still messing around with these UV resins. Trying to see which one works a little bit better. I got some questions out there to some of these national guys to see if they run into some issues. What I'm finding, year after year when I go through my box using that Loons, it kind of clouds up. It doesn't stay crisp and clear. So I switched over to the Solares. We're going to try that for a little bit. I don't know if it's exposure to the sun or air or what. So, all right. So what we have here, you can see how this is kind of got this little bit of a gap in it. That was the idea. We're just going to trim that a little bit longer than the hook. So that's the look that we get. Okay. Next thing we do, get your CDC. Okay. I put it in, a little block and then into a little clip. So you're going to use this new tool. This thing's awesome. This is a split thread tool. We're going to slide that up. Get that in there, spin it up. I might tie a few up like these, just to fish them that way. Okay. Now all we're gonna do is dub this on the head. Just to give it a little bit of legs. A little bit of motion. Cinch that down really good. Okay. Now we got all these little long fibers. I want these fibers shorter than the tail. Okay. I want that tail to stick out of the back of all of this CDC. So trim those to fit. Yeah, the other nice thing about this stuff's strong. This stretch tubing. I'm pulling on it, trying to get it out of these pliers on the ones that I, have cooked too long. And yeah, it's not going anywhere. So in the water, that's still gonna give us a little bit of freedom of movement. Okay. There you go. Noodle Caddis. Because it's got a noodle on it. I know my names are so clever, aren't they? Okay, that's what we got. So we got a couple more patterns coming up. Different ways that we can put extended bodies on Euro nymphs. And obviously we can't use the standard method that the dry fly guys are using because they're using foam. They want it to float, okay? We put that much foam on a size 14 with a 3mm bead. It is not gonna sink, so we need to come up with something different because there's no reason why the dry fly guys should have all the fun. So this is step one. Easy, tie, very quick. We can change the colors of the tail. We can change the colors of the CDC. We can change the colors of the body. So there's plenty of options, that we can use this to kind of match the hatch. And, like I said, with that one, we get into mayflies. If we're gonna put tails on this, we can put tails inside the stretch tubing, heat it, squeeze it, so that you have actual tails coming out the back of this. So maybe I'll tie one up like that as an example just to show you. But yeah, it's pretty neat. You can put those on there like that, especially this one with the black wire inside the gold stretch tubing. You know, it just looks like the insides of a bug. So there you go. We'll be back in a week or so with another pattern. A couple different ways that we can do something, looking at some knot tails, different materials that we can use that way that are not going to be buoyant, you know, which is going to allow our bugs to get down. So thanks for stopping in, guys. We'll see you in a week or so.